every sunrise, a chance to thrive. Tune in close, let your spirit grow. Welcome to the Gardner Show.
So there is this one thing that many of us have failed to understand, and it pushed me to go out in the public and try and find out what their understanding of it is. I went out and was asking people what they understand with envy. I had a group of people who said that it's wanting what somebody else has, wanting what somebody else has. And when you look at this, it's more or less of you seeing another person's success, looking at another person's possessions or life and wishing it were yours. Another person told me that envy is feeling bad when someone else does well. It is a mix of resentment and disappointment at another person's achievement or success. Another person told me that envy is more or less of jealousy. Many will use envy and jealousy interchangeably, even though they are slightly quite different. The final person told me that envy is hating on someone because they are better off, more or less of disliking someone because of their looks, wealth, talent, or disappointment. But then it got me thinking this whole thing does not define what envy is. It does not even give an understanding of what we can call envy or what it may even come up to be. So when we deconstruct what envy is, I will tell you that envy is not wanting what the other has. Envy is a mirror, and this mirror reflects your own sense of incompleteness. I repeat, envy is a mirror that reflects your own sense of incompleteness. And this entails comparison. And this comparison always happens in the mind, in the brain when you think, always measuring yourself against another person. Either they have more and you have less, they are better and you're worse. So it is a reflection of your own sense of incompleteness. And when you look it up, the word envy comes from a Latin word which is invidere, invidere. When you look at the word in, simply means upon, and videre means to see. And when you put it together, it literally means to look upon with ill will. You look upon with ill will. It's the eye that cannot see another shine. And I want you to keep in mind that envy actually is not the other person's success that you cannot bear. It's your own unlived potential screaming inside of you. Envy, in another way, is your own unlived potential screaming inside of you. So for you to be able to understand envy, you must first understand the source and how it is born and how it comes into play. Because it's like a smoke from fire. And when we look at fire, what makes fire? In reality, there are three aspects that make up fire. One, there should be friction between the match and where it's supposed to slide to ignite. Two, there has to be oxygen to ignite it. And three, there has to be energy. And more or less as fire, envy in this aspect, or the fire that burns and brings out envy, entails three basic components. The first is desire, the second is comparison, and the third is judgment. Let's jump into to understand these three components and how they happen or exist. One, let's talk about comparison. Somebody once told me that comparison kills creativity. Because once you start measuring yourself with another, the me versus the you or them, then you are building that inner fire of incompleteness within you. And without comparison, envy cannot exist. It's more or less of a measuring scale. Those moments when you turn on your media and go to your social handles and you look at your friend, maybe he's in Dubai or he's in the Bahamas or he's in Zanzibar or he's in Israel, or you know, and you look at them having fun, and what happens within you? For you, you are here in Uganda in traffic or in downtown, and you try to compare me versus them, like you're trying to use your measuring tape to measure, and within you, you feel like you're inadequate. You start comparing yourself. Envy. The second ingredient is desire. Desire simply means wanting what another person wants. You see, somebody has bought their new phone, maybe it's an iPhone Pro Max, or bought themselves a new car, and you suddenly want that thing of which they have. Not just appreciating them, but you're desiring to have that thing. So without desire, your appreciation of another does not exist, but you start to compare yourself with another. So can you appreciate something without wanting it? Should be the underscore of our understanding. And finally, the third ingredient of envy is judgment or insecurity. And this may be the hidden belief within yourself, which acts as a fuel that keeps the fire burning. If you want that, you would be this. If I get that car, maybe I'll be confident. If I get that promotion, that means I'll be more respected. If I get that title, I'll be listened to. That is the thief. You are acting like a phone battery already running low. And when you see another person charging, you feel insecure. And we need to move from a simple wish to a full act. If one ingredient is missing, envy cannot exist. And these ingredients are comparison, desire, and justification. For example, without comparison, you may want something, but doesn't bother you that somebody else has it. Without desire, you cannot compare all day and feel nothing. And without insecurity, you can admire others without feeling less of your own self. There's this story that is told of two farmers who wanted to plant crops, and they bought the seeds and they all waited for the rain to rain, or the rainy season. When the season came, one farmer planted and went on to always nurture, to weed, to fertilize until he harvested. The other kept his eye on the other person's farm, on the other person's land, on the other person's crops. And when it reached time for harvesting, this other person who kept his eyes on the other person's field and on other person's crops and did nothing, had nothing to harvest. And this is what happened. Actually, on his own field, the crops had withered, not from drought, but from regret. He had regretted why he had not planted. And this is what is happening to us today. Social media are our new neighbors, like other person's field. We scroll for their own thoughts, joy, but to measure it against our own daily bread. You stop doing and start watching the other person. And this has effects. One, envy is like the silent termite in a wood, and this can also be in a relationship. It will eat it slowly by slowly without you seeing the wood or the relationship going to the drain. But there is a virus, there is a termite, and that is envy. The second, in friendship, it turns admiration into rivalry. The people that you admired, because of comparison, because of your inadequacy, because of your envy, you become rivals. You even become angry at the things that they have achieved against your own achievement. And when it comes to families, it creates conflict when one is favored against the other. That separation that arises, which also happens in our workplaces. We see teams collapsing when one is recognized against the other. So, how can we manage envy? One, we need to observe without judgment. You need to be a scientist in your own mind. You need to learn how to catch your thoughts. You know, it's like when you're in the kitchen and you see a mice passing, or in any other place. Many of us have the tendency to try and run after the mice. And once you try to run after it, the mice will continue running and you won't actually catch it. But that mice will not disappear, it will come back again. And that's what envy does. If you can't catch it, if you can't observe it without judgment, you will not find it, but it will come back over and over again. So, what do you have to do? You need to just watch it and see where it is going. If you keep observing it and watching, it will show you actually where it has gone, and that becomes easy for you to kill it or to catch it, if you may like. So you need to learn how to see envy as it arises. Don't fight it. Don't justify it. Just watch it. Because you start seeing it, you're like, oh, I'm trying to compare myself with somebody. And once you start seeing it, the energy dissolves. The second aspect you need to do is to celebrate your uniqueness. Everyone is unique. You can't be like the other. There's one honest truth that God created each and every one of us differently. So instead of going out to compare yourself, you need to dance to your own song, dance to your own music, dance to your own rhythm. You know, when you look at a rose flower does not go out to start envying the lotus. Both are flowers. They are complete in themselves because the rose flower has learned to identify its uniqueness. Are you unique? Are you bringing forth your individuality that is trapped within you? Now, you need to learn how to let other people's success become your inspiration rather than your threat. Get inspired from their success. Get inspired from their uniqueness, not a threat. And that will help you to stop securing or to stop really searching to secure. And you'll start looking at your life as an own garden, with each crop growing according to its own uniqueness. And that's what you're supposed to nurture. Because once you do that, you'll see that kind of promotion of your friend. You stop being better, but thankful for them and waiting for your own time to come because you keep working on your own growth. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you, stop envying because your season will come. You need to dance your own dance. Even if somebody else is doing better steps, keep to your own rhythm. Why? Because it is you listening to your own song. It's more or less as those silent discos many of us going to attend. You'll see somebody dancing a different song, different rhythm, and you want to dance with them, yet you cannot hear the song they're listening to. Can you be able to listen to your own song and dance it? Once you dance it and stop comparing yourself, and you start observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment, and you start celebrating your uniqueness, then you're able to now understand envy and manage it and start living happy and fulfilled. And we all have two options. The first option is to always ask yourself why you are comparing. Are you able to look without the measuring mind, the judgment mind? The second option, picture. You need to understand that the picture is not the whole story. You need to live so full and look at the whole picture. And that starts from you accepting your own picture and going out to show it as it comes. Once you put this into play, then you live happy and fulfilled. Thank you for listening. My name is Gardner, and this is the Mind Heritage Talk. See you in the next episode. Adios.